My name is Goldie. I am joined today with Dr. Katie Boyd. Our goal today is to discuss 3 points of mental health tools for event professionals that can help them through this year or the next half year of 2020. Welcome, Dr. Katie Boyd. Who are you? What do you do? Where are you at? And what are we going to discuss today?
All right, thank you. So I'm Dr. Katie Boyd. I have a private practice in St. Louis, Missouri, and I see individuals in therapy and help them through a lot of different concerns. Anxiety is my specialty. So certainly right now, people are stressed. There's no doubt about it. I've been in my practice for 10 years, and I've never really seen this type of universal stressor that we're facing. So people are definitely stressed. And as you mentioned, the event industry certainly is facing so much ambiguity and uncertainty. And so today we'd like to talk about tips for how to help manage that, navigate that this year.
Our first point today to discuss is the wonderful world of Facebook.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So Facebook, it is it's a platform for discussion as people would like to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
It started as, I believe it was around 2005-ish. I think the website kind of caught fire. I remember getting on it, and it was designed to be like, share pictures and show your mom that you went to the farm today and you had fun with goats. And, oh, look at my cat. It's funny. Now it's turned into this complete toxic society. It is, I don't even want to have to explain it. If you don't get what I just said, then you must be some sort of magician. But it is a poorly executed communication device that is allowing people to hide behind a fourth wall and like be sort of like the little guy at a house party where he like runs in the front door and like bitch slaps the big guy and then runs out of the party again.
Mm-hmm.
That is not communication. That is acting like a jerk.
Right.
So Facebook is a situation. Katie, what's your take about Facebook and why are we making this a point in mental health today?
I think certainly social media, all social media, but Facebook especially because of the discussion platform, can create a lot of stress for people. And I think that a lot of us, people are out of work right now. They've got time on their hands. We were isolated during quarantine, so it could be a tool to use to connect with people, as you said. That's what it was designed for. During this time of stress, I think a lot of people are displacing their feelings, they're stressed, they're angry, and they're kind of using Facebook as an outlet for that. It's easy to get sucked into having an argument with a stranger on Facebook in the comments, or even just reading the arguments of other people in the comments. And that creates more anger and stress. And it takes us away from the purpose of that tool, which was to connect with each other, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think it's important for people to pay attention to how they feel when they're reading these comments or getting into arguments and trying to not take things personally. Be objective. So in psychology, we talk about the cognitive distortions that we do. So just errors in our thinking that create our stress. When we take things personally, we're almost always distorting something, right? That's one of our most common cognitive errors that we make in our thinking. So when people are reading things on Facebook, the issues that we're facing, not just with the pandemic, but all the political climate issues as well, we're facing these issues and taking them very personally instead of being able to separate ourselves. And you're seeing a lot of personal attacks coming across on social media.
So what would be the tool to physically, then inherently, emotionally separate yourself from the toxicity of Facebook? How do you do that? I know how I've done it, but from your words.
Sure. So I think it's important. Attention and awareness is really important, right? I think that, again, a lot of us just get sucked into reading the comments or into an argument, and we don't pay attention to how's this making us feel, or ask ourselves, is this really about me? Am I taking something personally that isn't really about me? So being able to stop yourself and ask those questions and reflect. I think a lot of people just kind of go through their days and they aren't really reflecting on how things make them feel.
And also you got to think like a boss or like a manager. Are you getting the job done? Do you have a goal? Here, I gave you a broom. I need you to sweep that room. That's your goal. That's it. Nothing else. Is somebody going to come in and invade that goal? No, you have a goal. If you go on Facebook and you go for discussion and it ends up in a toxic communication, you're not achieving the goal you even came there to do. And that's what Facebook really is. It's just all these little house party bitch slappers coming in, just being like clowns. It is. It's a clown show.
Yeah, I think you
So,
make a good point with the intention, right? So setting your intention, what's your goal with this? That's
yeah.
a good point.
What is an elevator speech on how to handle Facebook?
That would be pay attention to how it makes you feel. Try to remain as objective as possible and have an intention or a goal in what you're using it for. Is this a tool for connection with other people? Is this, being used in a way that's actually not helpful for you and has lost point of that goal?
Okay, cool. I like that tool. Take the heart out of Facebook because
Mm-hmm.
it's a heartless, dark zone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Point number 2 right now is on everyone's mind, and it is their finances. It's their money. Having financial difficulties that are like unrealistic. Like we're like, it's not because we're being lazy. It's because we're out of work because of the world situation. It's nuts. And there's 100 different perspectives on, well, go get a job, or you can do something different, or you need to pivot, and you need to figure this out, and da da da. it it doesn't change the end of the day that there's no money in the account.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the answer? What's the tangible answer to figuring out money July 16th, 2020? What do we do? I don't know. I'm like an announcer, DJ, MC, producer, video, audio guy. Like the last thing I go doing is like hang out at a bank or hang out at like a finance office. Ugh.
Right. So yeah, money is a big stressor for people always, but right now, absolutely, you make a good point about you can't just go get a job. Whereas before, a money stressor is something that was in your control to do something about. You could go get a job. You could take on a second job. You could, this pandemic and the current situation is such a unique stressor because it's something that we can't just go do something about. We are very limited in a lot of ways. There's so much about this that's out of our control. And so people definitely, especially in your industry, there are no events happening. People aren't working. There's nothing you can do about that. You can't, you tried to get a concert going
Mm-hmm.
and they
Mm-hmm.
canceled it. Out of
Mm-hmm.
your control.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that that's creating that unique kind of stress where there's nothing you can actually do about it. And it feels very powerless, helpless. And so that can cause people to want to stick their heads in the sand and avoid. When we feel stressed or anxiety, a lot of times we want to avoid the issue. And I think that's probably the worst thing we can do. One of the best things we can do for that kind of anxiety is try to find something that you can do about it and take some action. You mentioned you're not a banker. You don't
No.
know, no financial expert, right? So
Like the word tax is a foul word in my language. Like, oh God, you said that. Oh.
right. So finding help from someone who is, right, if you can connect with a banker or a financial planner or someone that can help you with that, there are options out there for people. I think, I'm not a financial expert either. Being able to get the information and find, is there something I can do about this? What are my options here to kind of help you feel like there is something that you can do and it's not completely out of your control.
So ultimately the answer to money right now is finding a physical human being who can walk you through a process of answers. With the point of money, what is the tool to satisfy mental health with money right now?
I mean, I think that first of all, you got to remember that you're not alone in this, right? I think that's an important point about that.
All right.
You're not alone. A lot of people are in this boat, and that can help relieve some of that stress. It's normal to feel powerless and helpless when the stressor is out of our control like that.
Okay.
But it's also important to try to take control in whatever ways you can by taking some action. Try to define it and make it something that you can do something about instead of this big ambiguous problem that feels helpless.
Yeah. Take action. Go see a banker. That'll help money. All right. Number 1 point, Facebook, be objective, get out. Number 2 point, money right now. Go see an expert, a banker, a financial expert. Let them guide you. They know more about it than you do. At least you're getting answers. It'll calm anxiety. That's mental health. Number 3, the point we discussed previous this conversation, our number 3 point is focus.
Mm-hmm.
That is waking up in the morning or however you do, maybe you're a night worker and you sleep till 2, whatever, it's fine. Whenever you wake up, that when you wake up, you have a goal that is attainable every day. Like I said, you may not be inventing the next rocket or creating vaccines for the world. I like that one admiral, colonel, captain from the Navy. I don't know. It's a speech. You see it on YouTube. You press play. I know I sound like a 90-year-old. He says, make your bed every day. That means you've done something, right? It's a nice speech because ultimately it really does show that no matter how bad your day can be, that there is something that you were focused on, and that was making your own bed. And it's not hard. It's not hard. If you can't make your own bed, then you've probably made it too hard. Like you have too many pillows. You probably need to ditch some of those and maybe like forget tucking everything in like I do. Just throw it on there. Make it look flat and cool and get out of there. I feel great when I do that. When I make my own bed, and then I come home at night and I'm like, things suck today. But then I look at my own bed and I'm like, dude, cool. And then you get in bed and you kick your stupid little legs and you're like, ooh. So, okay. Focus is the point of number 3. In your words, Katie, what does focus mean to anyone in the world of events right now who's out of work, saying, I'm waking up, I literally have nothing to do. What do I do? Will I make more sourdough with everyone? Like you can't eat that much sourdough.
Right. So we don't know what day it is. We don't know. The schedules are very interesting right now because there is none. And for people who are out of work. And so being able to, again, kind of create some structure in your life in whatever way that is, having an intention, a goal for your day, a focal point, something that you want to work on, no matter how big or small, being able to have a goal for that day. I love the making your bed everyday goal. It's a simple, something you can get done every single day, makes you feel better. But even bigger than that, being able to kind of have a goal for each day, a focal point of what you want to achieve, what you want to accomplish. Maybe even if it's waking up in the morning and having some routine that you do where you look at the calendar and see what day it is, as simple as that seems. Kind of keep track. Work provided that structure for us, right? So you knew what day it was, you knew what you had on your calendar, you knew what, and that's important for our mental health to have that structure. And so without that, we've seen people not knowing, again, what day it is, feeling very lost. And so having a routine in the morning, something you can achieve that's concrete, that you can get done every day, can help that feeling.
And also in the sense of focus with mental health, would you agree learning that your toxic patterns in your daily routine need to be addressed? Such as maybe you're waking up and you're turning on Facebook and it's just pissing you off. Like, dude, recognize this, okay? Like, stop drinking the vinegar right out of the gate. Wake up and walk somewhere. What would be your words when it comes to being truly effective in being focused? Let's say this. Let's say you wake up and you feel focused and you're like, cool, my goal today is to go grocery shopping, not get mad at not mask wearing people or whatever. And then, and come back and I'm making enchiladas for the house tonight. My goal is to make the best damn enchiladas I've ever made. What if you fail? What if you're focused and you go to make these enchiladas and you just made the worst tasting I don't know how you could, but it's possible. I've seen some really poorly made food out there. What if you fail in your focus? What do you do?
I think you pay attention to how you're talking to yourself. Really try to steer clear from that negative focus. Our brains do tend to want to be negative and look for problems and look for what's going wrong. And it's important for us to, like you said, kind of break that habit, notice the routines and the things that you're doing each day that might be, as you called it, toxic. Negative focus. If your enchiladas are terrible, being able to say, well, try again tomorrow. That is so much healthier and better for your mental health than to beat yourself up and feel like a failure and say, man, I can't get anything right. And we can change the way we think. We can change our self-talk, right? And so being able to pay attention to how you're talking to yourself and how that makes you feel, and make a change, get out of the rut of that negative thinking and try to focus on something positive. Even in the worst situations, there are positives to find.
I mean, we're finding them right now, like with, the worst situation, COVID, just curveballs, like they're like beam balls, like intentional. This is it's like a fraternity hell week where they're like, you're just going to have to take it, suckbag.
But there are things that are positive that are coming out of it, right? And
Yeah.
I never talk about like all roses and rainbows and sunshine
Right.
kind of perspective,
Because
because
it's
that's
not.
not real, right? But what is real is that when the negative is there, the positive is too. It's usually not completely one or the other, ever. And
Right.
so being able, our brains again kind of want to grab onto that negative and focus on it, but the positive exists too. So we need to be able to take a look at, even in this situation, people are finding, some of the positives that have come out of it, or people are finding time to connect with family and connect in ways and be at home more, and maybe get out and enjoy the outdoors more when they're used to being in a cubicle all the time. There are some positives that are coming out of this that, we probably may not even recognize until later down the road. But within each day, we can find something that went well or that we're happy about.
The focus of a small goal and a big goal. Maybe you make 2 a day. Make the bed and try to build a rocket. See what happens. Okay. So in conclusion, for mental health in July of 2020, number 1, Facebook is a great tool for objectivity. Number 2, money. You may not have all the answers to money right now. None of us really do. It's horrible. I'm part of it. You got to go see an expert. I don't physically have the answers. I'm bad at math. 3's point is focus. Have a goal.
I want to add, if that isn't enough and you're still struggling, there's absolutely nothing wrong with reaching out for help from a mental health professional. There's nothing wrong with reaching out during a stressful time to get a little bit of help from a professional. Is a good thing.
Dr. Katie Boyd, thank you for being here. I'm going to go practice this.